a legal practitioner and political consultant who's also the director of the International Association of Political Consultants. Kurtis Adigba joins me now on the news to discuss this challenge. It's good to see you again and hear from you, Mr. Adigba. So what do you make of this? It's 10 days now that the Supreme Court has handed down its verdict on the matter, yet we are still seeing many Nigerians facing a severe cash crunch.
Well, I think it's a very, very sad situation. Sad in the sense that it doesn't look like the government is concerned about what is going on. It does look more like, let's just wait and see what will happen. And that is not how you govern a country. Now, the Attorney General of the Federation, who was castigated by the Supreme Court in that decision, has come out to say, look, I am not in the position to address the federal government on the steps to take. And we have not heard any clear directive from the president to the governor of the central bank to say, okay, on the basis of this judgment, we should move ahead in this direction or in that direction. And so people are just left to imagine what should happen or what shouldn't happen. There's total, blackout on information from the government. You will hear today that a CBN has instructed commercial banks to start paying out the old notes as well as the new notes. And then the next thing you hear is that the CBN didn't give such instructions. So I think it is important, like the ATF said, that the president should come out one way or the other and address this issue.
Mr. Adigba, amidst the silence from the federal government, there's also the issue of banks issuing out the old notes. You've mentioned that earlier. But then we're seeing some state governments rising to the occasion, saying they will clamp down on entities that reject the old notes. What's the sustainability or the implication of that?
You see, I have taken the position that the Supreme Court judgment created so many problems for this country. First and foremost, it decided that the policy was faulty and that the president ought to have consulted to the governors, and to the extent that he didn't do that, he nullified the policy, right? Now, if you nullify a policy in one breath, you cannot extend the same policy in another breath. Extend the same policy in another breath. So it's either you nullify the policy completely and then order a return to status quo, which is that all the old notes will continue to be legal tender, of course, which is what they have done. But then they said they are extending it to the 31st of December. So you see the confusion in that. Now, we all know that under the Constitution, governors do not have power over monetary policy. And all the talk about those who refuse the old notes, we will jail them. Have you heard of anybody arrested in any of the states? But the truth is that in all the states, people are rejecting the old 500 and 1,000 notes. And that is why it is important that the president, who has power over this issue, to speak up. And if possibly, direct the CBN governor to take clear steps and make clear pronouncements on the issue. So what the governors are doing, as far as I'm concerned, is not going to change any situation.
All right, and beyond intervention by the president, of course, Nigeria are waiting. This is very important. Many are also looking to the NBA, the Nigerian bar, civil societies, other pressure groups. Some have said they've even been docile on the matter or perhaps compromised. But what is your, resolution on this matter about, possible interventions by these pressure groups?
Look. We are at an interesting point in the history of this country. Now, ordinarily, this issue and some other issues are capable of imploding the country. But Nigerians are kept calm because they want to conclude this election, okay? So, but that does not mean that the patience of Nigerians should be taken for granted. There is pressure. People are speaking out. MB has spoken. other groups are also speaking out. It is important that the president steps forward. This is what leadership is all about. And then deal with the situation as clearly as possible as they can.
Kurtis Adigba, we thank you very much for speaking with us on TVC News.
Thanks for having me.